What is going on, lovely people? Welcome to another episode of the Editorial Podcast. I'm Nikki.
And this is Chris coming at you with 315,144,000 honey crullers between us. Thanks so much for tuning into our podcast.
Honey crullers.
Yes.
Those things from Timmy's?
Yes, oh my God, they're like the best donut. For all you listeners out there, honey crullers are the best donuts from Tim Hortons. For those of you who are listening from abroad, Tim Hortons is our local coffee and donut chain. It's not the best, but it's comforting. It's comforting, and no other donut matters than the honey cruller.
It's got a special place in all Canadians' hearts, which is funny because didn't they say that like Tim Hortons is no longer owned by Canadian?
Yeah, it was like
owned by a Canadian company anymore.
Yeah, it was like sold out to Burger King, which is like an American empire chain. Yeah, it's a little sad. It was Burger King or Wendy's, I can't remember. It's one of the two of them, but yeah, it's like our one Canadian emblem is like gone.
Right, that and brown bears. So why are you craving honey crullers or something? What's going on, Chris?
Well, it is that time of the month. It is Shark Week, as I so elegantly call it in terms of a euphemism. Yeah, basically, it's that time of the month where you just wake up and there's a crime scene in your pants, and you're like, okay, cool.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like that scene from The Shining.
You were telling me. I was just going to say, you were telling me about, we were talking about it on Instagram chat, and then you sent me a GIF of like a room being flooded with blood.
I sent you a what?
You sent me a GIF?
I sent you what? I sent you peanut butter? I sent you GIF peanut butter?
Is it not called a GIF?
What is it called? A GIF? It's a GIF because the first thing is graphics. Like that's the word that the G stands for.
Okay, well, I've been calling it wrong. Whatever, GIF.
Yes, I sent you a GIF. Hard G.
Of blood filling into your room, and I was like, what the hell is this? And you're like, it's from The Shining. I've never watched that. Sorry, I don't watch scary stuff or gruesome stuff or anything to do with, I don't know, murders.
It's like
mysteries.
It's really great because it's like a slow descent into madness. You watch Jack Nicholson give into his cabin fever and go crazy and hallucinate, and it's pretty entertaining. It's great. Especially he makes like this really silly face when he's like frozen. Oh, spoiler alert, stop listening if you have not seen it yet and you really want to. He ends up like frozen outside, and like the face that he ends up like frozen at the end of the movie in is hilarious. I mean, it's terrible because he's dead, but it's hilarious.
Right, never gonna watch it, but I heard isn't it written by Stephen King?
Yes, like it's very funny because the book and the movie are very different.
And then they always are.
Yes, but like Stephen King like notoriously hates the film adaptation of The Shining because he was like, they missed everything that I was going for. And it's a stark difference. Like you miss a lot of like the backstory, and like you miss a lot of like the kids' powers and all of that stuff. So I mean, I personally love Stanley Kubrick. He was the director of The Shining, and it's like aesthetically beautiful to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I also love the book, so I'm like right down the middle when it comes to it.
Well, I don't. I've never read it, nor have I ever watched it. So yeah, we're moving on.
Very fair.
Talking about periods, I'm actually getting mine probably in the next like maybe 2 to 3 days here because I'm on the pill. So usually comes around this time without fail. And if it did fail, then I go back to my pharmacist and be like, what the fuck? But seeing as my pharmacist is the guy that I'm dating currently, this is going to be a problem.
Oh, no.
And I like how we're talking about periods on this show right now because we're both girls. But honestly, looking at the analytics that we get back, 50% of our listeners on our audience actually identify as male. So hello, all you male listeners.
This would be super awkward.
I know, but they're going to hear about it. So we're just going to debunk a lot of myths for you today. Yeah. And tell you about, what it's really like to, shed your uterus lining or whatever it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always an experience. Like this month was fun because like I showed up late, which is like super annoying because it's, when you're like on a regular cycle, it's like you expect it at a certain time, and it's like I'm really terrible, and I get all of like the stereotypical symptoms. Like I get everything. I get the cramps, I get the swelling, I get
Oh,
the bloating, I get the mood swings,
the
I get the oh
moodiness.
god, the
Oh,
acne is the worst. Yeah, I get it
right.
all. Like it's terrible. You suffer for like 2 days, and then it's like by day 3 you're like, meh, this is fine. But because I was like literally about a week late, I'm like day 2 and it's still, or like, no, rather, I'm day 3 and it still looks like a crime scene in my pants. Like, it's very sad. And I'm like still very bloated. Yeah.
Mm,
It's not great. It's not a good time.
mm.
But it was funny because all my friends were joking with me and they were like, so are you feeling like Mary? Are you going to give birth to Jesus? I was like, wow, wow, guys, good joke, very funny.
Yes, all the religious jokes have been
All of
made.
them have. It was really funny because my one friend, Rich, shout out to Rich, he messaged me and he was like, yeah, I will raise that child like he's my own. And I was like, dude, you're not Joseph. And then I set him up for the worst dad joke ever. He messaged me back and was like, no, I'm better. I'm Broseph. And I was like, I'm never talking to you again.
Uh, yeah, effectively cut from my life. Sorry, by Rich.
Oh my God, I'm
No, but
Broseph.
it's funny. It's funny that you say that because I had almost the same story where when I was like, I think grade
Mm-hmm.
8. Yeah, must have been like early high school. Never had a boyfriend, never touched a boy in my
Mm-hmm.
life yet. And I was like, okay, I'm getting these mad lower abdominal
Oh
pains
no.
and I couldn't handle it. And so I was like, Dad, I like I'm keeling over. And so my dad took me to the nearest hospital and we went and they asked you to do like very
Yeah.
routine, very standard. They're like, why don't you pee in a
Mm-hmm.
cup? I'm like, okay, but I have my period though. You still want me to pee in the cup? And they're like, yes, pee up to this line. I'm like, okay. And then they're like, but we don't want the beginning of the pee, nor do we want the end pee. We want the
Oh
middle
my
pee. I'm like,
God.
I don't have a penis where I can just literally spray hose it and mark like into and aim it into the bowl and then into the cup and then back into the bowl,
Oh
okay?
God.
Pee doesn't really come out of your vagina the way that you want it to unless you have a funnel
Stop.
there,
Oh my
okay? Anyways,
God.
so I tried my best and I'm like, okay, here's your bloody pee that you wanted. And then I go and wait behind the curtain because there's no rooms at this hospital. Or no, the ER is always
Yeah.
like that. There's just
Just
is
like,
like a bunch of
yeah.
curtains, right? So stayed behind one of the curtains. My dad's with me. My mom happened to be at the family doctor getting her blood pressure
Mm-hmm.
taken because we have a family history of high blood pressure, and so I'm there waiting for the doctor. And in about like 20 minutes later, the doctor comes in with a police officer
Oh my
and me
God.
and my dad were like, what the fuck? So because I was underage, I was like 15, I think, and they said, we did a routine pregnancy test on your urine and it came back positive. And I was like, this is not
Oh
right.
my
I'm like, I might be dumb
Christ.
and I might be only 15, but I'm pretty sure in sex ed, they told you that if you had your period, you're not pregnant. Okay. And one, I've never touched a boy. Two, I have my period. So how does this make any
Yeah.
sense? Right. I don't even know what a penis looked like at that time. So I was like, Dad, I don't know what's going on. I swear to I don't even have a boyfriend. I'm confused. And so the doctor's like, well, you're underage. We need to talk to your father. Like, we need to talk to you privately. So they asked my father to step
Oh
out.
my
And then
God.
they're like, were you sexually abused? Were you touched anywhere? I'm like, no, I wasn't. Like, I swear to God. And then they're like, and then I think like, they have to question, the like every male in your life. And so I was like, trust me, my
Yeah.
dad didn't touch me, whatever, like, you know what I mean? So they call my dad back in and they're like, yeah, so your pregnancy test came back, or your daughter's pregnancy test came back
Oh my
positive.
God.
So this is why this police officer's here. We're going to take a statement if you know anything. And I was like, no, bro, I didn't do anything. But I was like crying hysterically because I
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on.
That's traumatic. Are you kidding me?
It is traumatic for sure. So what ended up happening was they're like, okay, well, we still have to like wait for the blood test results. And I was like, okay. So I'm here hallucinating about like dying and stuff because I'm
Oh,
like, I don't know what's going on, blah blah. And then my dad's like, I swear to you, my dad's the freaking king of all
I love
dad
it.
jokes. So I'm here crying. And I was like, Dad, I didn't do anything. I swear to God, I didn't, you know, and like, I can't be pregnant. I have my period. I don't get it. And he's like, it's okay, Nikki. If you are pregnant, and keep in mind, we're not religious, right? So he's like, if you are pregnant, you should just name it Jesus. It's
Oh my
okay.
God.
And I was like, you're fucking joking right
This
now, right? You're
this
making a
this
joke.
is
You're
not the
making a
time.
joke. This is
This is
not the
not the
time.
time.
He calls my mom, puts her
Oh
on
no.
speaker, and goes, your daughter wants to say something to you. And here I am crying so hard. And my
Oh
mom's like, what the fuck's going
God.
on? Like freaking out. And she's like, what's
Yeah.
going on? I'm like, Mom, they said and she goes, you have cancer? And I was like, no, they said I'm
Jesus.
pregnant. They said I'm pregnant. And my mom's like, I'd rather you have cancer. But what? I was like, wait,
Oh my
what?
God. Oh God.
I'm not trying to make a joke out of this, but then it's just like for my mom, she's like, that is at age 15 to be pregnant is probably just as worse as cancer. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay,
Oh
this is not
God.
it. This is not even remotely the same, but okay.
No.
And then turns out at the very end, what had happened was the doctors or the nurses at that nice hospital swapped my pee sample for
Oh God.
somebody who's like two curtains down with their husband waiting for the result of, and they you can clearly see she's pregnant.
My
So I'm like,
gosh.
you're fucking joking. And then they sent me
Good
home with
Lord.
painkillers and they never told me what was wrong. So,
Ugh.
how's that for a pregnancy scare?
Oh man, I had like a similar thing too. Like back when I have an autoimmune disease. I suffer from ulcerative colitis. And back when they were still trying to diagnose me, I remember like being at U of T and I was like in my early 20s and
Uh-huh.
I went to every hospital, I think like in the University Health Network. And like in Toronto, there's several huge hospitals that are all part
Uh-huh.
of one big healthcare conglomerate.
Right, right.
So, yeah, I went to one of the big ones downtown and I was like, I'm keeled over in pain. Like, I've got crazy, like, one of the things that come along with ulcerative colitis is like crazy cramping. Like, it feels like, I don't know if you've probably not seen Alien. No?
No,
Okay, so
sorry.
there's this iconic scene called the chestbuster scene where like this guy literally has like an alien pop out of his stomach, tears him apart. And that's like the pain level that you associate like ulcerative colitis cramps with. They're next level, doubled over in pain. My blood pressure's sky high. And this doctor's like, oh, well, obviously you're probably pregnant. And I was like, what? Dude, no, this is something more than that. Like, they ran like 2 pregnancy tests. They gave me an ultrasound to see if it was like an ectopic pregnancy, all of this stuff. I'm like, guys, I promise you, I think I know where my pain is. And it literally has nothing to do with my uterus for like the first time in my life. So maybe let's search somewhere else. Yeah. And they like sent me home with like some painkillers and they were like, it'll pass. Drink some water and have a nap. It's probably stress. Cool. And I was like, this is great. I love our healthcare network. It's really great. And then it took like 2 years later before I found out what was wrong with me for real.
Right. That's very interesting because even till this day, I don't know what's wrong with me because those pains, I still have them, like from time to
Mm-hmm.
time. And yeah, it's like it is so painful that I'm in fetal position, but I have no clue what it is. And when I went in, this was before COVID, and I went for a checkup because it came back again. It was so
Oh my
bad.
God.
Like it gets so bad that the doctors at the hospital prescribe me morphine
Yeah,
tablets every time. And I'm like, "Well, can you not just fix me?" So
literally.
they did all the tests that they could, at the time, and let me tell you, I got a probe stuck up my vagina because I
Yikes,
couldn't.
my dude.
They told me that I was going in for an ultrasound, and I was like, "Okay, cool." But I didn't drink enough water, and they were like, "This is gonna take too long, so and then we can't see anything if you don't drink enough water.
Yeah.
Is it okay that we do, like, a vaginal ultrasound?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, okay. It's not like that's the first time anything's been up there, but cool." So, they're like,
Oh
"Here's
God.
the here's the waiver form that you have to sign, like a consent form," right? Obviously, I think there's, like, safety of, like, the nurses touching you or whatever inappropriately without
Mm-hmm.
your consent, whatever. I'm like, "Okay." So then she goes and she's like, "Here's I'm just gonna lube up this tube and this probe, and I'm just going to stick it inside, and then you just tell me if it hurts. I'm like, okay. She's like, I'm going to stick it in pretty deep. I'm like, okay, go for it. So she does and goes for it. And then you're like, this feels really weird. Like I've got like, as females, we go for regular checkups, pap smears or whatever it is, and
Mm-hmm.
you get like freaking Q-tips shoved into your vagina. But this is like different on another level, okay? Because the entire time this woman's got like a probe up my thing, and she goes and asks me all these questions, and she's like poking around, and like to a certain extent it kind of does hurt a little bit. It's like not
Well, I would
satisfying in any
imagine.
way. And
Gosh.
this is reminds me of like the thing where I don't know where the hell I read it, but people are saying, or I read something where they said, "Oh, men, don't worry, size doesn't matter because the nerves inside a woman's hoo-ha only goes as deep as 3 inches. So as long as you're bigger than 3 inches, you're cool." I'm like, I don't know if that's true or not. Like, I honestly probably need to do more research on this. But anyways, probe up the hoo-ha, and then they still don't know
Oh,
what it is. I was supposed to go and see a specialist because they wanted to find out whether or not it was endometriosis,
yeah.
which they couldn't really see even with the ultrasound. So they said, yeah, we got to send you to a gyno. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. It's the first time I'm going to a gyno, you know? And then COVID happened. They said, we got to push your thing back. I'm like, that's okay. So my appointment got pushed back to like probably July, and we'll see what happens then. But I wonder if it's the same thing that you have.
That would be very, I mean, it would be terrible, but it would also be very funny. This podcast has brought us so close that now we share each other's ailments.
I'm sure this podcast has brought all these girls very close to us, all our female listeners, and hopefully your cycle is syncing up with us as we
Oh
speak every
my
week.
goodness. I feel like, yeah, like our cycles have synced up at this point, which is very funny. I think like you switched my cycle, and that's why I was a week late.
I'm pretty sure because I have a really strong pull, like a
Oh my
magnetic
God.
pull. I'm a force to be reckoned with. No,
Yes.
because I'm on the pill, so I know when my period comes without
Okay.
fail. So it has to be that you're syncing to me, which means everybody else is syncing to you who's syncing to me. So I'm like the mother hen.
Look at that. You've got the mother uterus.
Yeah, I'm the shark of all shark weeks.
Oh, dude. Oh, I can't
Snap, snap,
even.
bitches.
I can't even describe. Like this month, it's terrible. Like I don't know. So I have like this delusion that I'm gonna be able to like go to a cottage soon because that's what you do in Toronto when it gets really warm.
Right.
And like I've booked the time and everything. I'm like, hopefully, if like the state of emergency lifts, like I'll be able to like disappear for a few weeks. I don't know why I decided I would go swimsuit hunting
Oh,
while I'm like
right.
super swollen and like 3 times my size. I'm super bloated. My legs are swollen. It's like I'm going through like a mini pregnancy and it's terrible. And I was like, I just gave up so quickly. I was like, this is horrendous. This is a horrendous idea. Everything doesn't fit right. I'm so swollen. I'm waddling around and like, I've just got blood coming out of me uncomfortably, all while like dealing with a
But isn't that a
migraine.
good thing though? Because when you're on your period, your feet are swollen. So then now you maybe actually have feet that are closer to normal human size.
It's very funny because they don't swell to length, they swell to width. So the shoes that
Oh,
kind of
damn.
don't fit me do fit me, which is always a plus. Like my Chuck Taylors fill out. It's really nice.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
I was literally waiting for the feet jokes. I was like, bring them, let's go.
Oh, and for those who know me, I don't like feet, but I'm okay to joke about it, but like I have a thing. Like if you like feet, I'm sorry. That's the first like when I used to go out on dates with guys, I'm like, "Do you have a foot fetish?"
Oh my God,
And it
Nikki.
always catches them off guard because that'd be one of the first things that I ask, which is, "Do you have thing for feet?" And they would always look at me like I'm fucking crazy. I'm like, "No, but this is a legit question though, because if you have a thing for feet, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm gonna get the fucking check and leave." I'm like,
Yikes.
"You'll never see my feet." Never, never, never. Those people who like, in porn and they suck on your toes,
I
I'm
can't.
like
No.
dry heaving.
I
No, I can't.
Jesus. Oh my
I'm like, have
God.
you not heard of foot fungus?
That's
Like,
oh
I'm like,
God.
I'm not saying that I have it. I have actually, according to my Vietnamese pedicure lady, and there's only one person on this planet who touches my feet other than me when I'm in the shower to like clean them, is my little Vietnamese lady who does my pedicures. And she says I have really nice feet, and like, God bless her, she's really cute, but my feet will never see the light of day. Uh,
Oh my God.
so I get them done because I am a hygienic person.
Yes.
Okay. I care about my personal hygiene. So I get them done. I get them painted in a nice red color, but no one sees them ever.
See, well, especially like when I'm PMSing, like I got like my fat feet. So I got my old lady Birkenstocks that I put on because they got that great arch support. And yeah, that's how I like live my best life. If I could always be barefoot, I would be happy.
Huh. Very different, you and I.
Indeed. I'm
Yes.
very, that's the only thing I'm like very hippy dippy trippy about is like, I love being barefoot, man. I like being connected to the earth via my feet, man. But even then, I'm like, I
No.
still gotta like come in the house and immediately wash them. I'm like, ugh, that's too much outside.
No, I can't. No. So people who have like, sandal or like tans on their feet,
Tiger stripes,
uh,
dude. That's where my tiger
I
stripes are.
no. Never happens. Never happens for me. But there's a lot of things that, is quite not ideal when it comes to females having to deal with their time of the month. And Chris, you touched on some of them,
Oh
how
man.
you do get all of the symptoms, but funny enough, I don't. I don't
I'm
get
so
cramps.
jealous. How does it feel to be one of God's chosen ones? My God.
I don't get cramps. Like, how do you define cramps? Like, what does it feel like when you get a cramp?
It feels like that scene in Alien I was talking about earlier, but I get them mainly in my lower abdomen and in my lower back. And it almost feels like
Okay.
your muscles are tinfoil and someone's just like squeezing the ever living daylights out of it and like compressing it into like a small ball.
Right.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
great. It's not a good time.
No, I don't believe it could be a good time. But for me, I don't get cramps. But on the first day that it comes,
Hmm.
I guess because it's like, I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that I'm on the pill, because without fail, the first day, it would always feel like needles
Yeah, that's,
jabbing the inside of my hoo-ha. That's what
yeah.
it'll feel like for like the first day, and then that's it. It's not cramps though. Like, it doesn't feel like pressure, if that's what you describe a
Huh.
cramp as. No, it's a very, very distinct,
Man.
sharp pain. Then it goes away after the first day, and I don't get cravings. I don't get moody.
Those are like the two things that like I turn into a praying mantis. Like I will
Ooh.
rip your head off within a second. Fun story. There's actually this bird that's been settling like in the eaves trough above my room, and it wakes me up at 5 o'clock every day.
Fucking
And
annoying.
oh my God, while I've been PMSing, this bird has been screaming bloody murder at 5 in the morning every morning. And I just like am in bed, eyes wide open, stewing, violently just stewing, just marinating in my anger about this. And I know that I'm being irrational about how angry I am. Like I'm self-aware about how angry I'm being.
As long as you're aware.
Yes, because I know it really shouldn't be bothering me this much, but I'm like, I swear to God, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to just, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something to this bird. And it's just been like me groveling about this bird passive aggressively for the last several days. And I know
Huh.
it's because I'm getting like emotional about it. As soon as it started to happen, I was like, I could expect it in the next few days.
That's very interesting. I don't get that. Nor do I get
Oh,
acne is very minimal on me, and I'm very grateful because I used to have the
ugh.
shittiest skin, let me tell you. My forehead was like a landmine situation. There was just
Did you
bumps
also have emo
everywhere.
bangs though?
Oh, I didn't. I didn't have emo bangs because I was super, super fob, and I had like the split down the middle with like the curly ends, and
Okay.
everything was like shoulder length. Which is funny
Okay,
because
because I
I
was
have
gonna
a split
say,
down the middle now. You were gonna say what? You were gonna say what, Chris?
I was gonna say that all of my horrific acne from my forehead was all because of like my emo bangs in high school.
Oh,
Like
see, this
that's
is
what
why you
gave me
can't have
terrible
bangs.
bad skin.
No, you can't have bangs, man.
I
No,
know. I've learned my lesson. I haven't had bangs in like, 15 years, but still.
no, I was like lucky enough that I made enough money for myself that I was able to splurge on a bunch of skincare routines and
Oh
start
my
going getting
God.
facials. Like I'm telling Chris, like it's a life-changing time. You should go
I
get a
don't like people
facial.
touching my face, man. I
I
don't like people
know.
touching me.
I know, but trust me, it does wonders when they do a nice peel on your face and get rid of all the dead skin, and then they go and they poke out all your blackheads and whiteheads and shit, and then they rehydrate you and put some of that essences on you, you know? So I spent a lot of money on facials, like upwards of 4 grand actually, and then
Holy crap.
that kind of fixed my skin. And then to maintain it, I actually got the go ahead from my doctor and I got Accutane prescribed to me. So ever since taking that, that had also killed off all my oil
Ah,
glands. So now I don't really have acne. I'll have like the one odd big one.
yeah.
Not cystic acne, but I'll have like just the one odd one that pops out, but it not associated, not nothing correlated with my period, which is nice. So
Oh
yeah.
man. Yeah, I sort of had the same thing. Like it's not cystic, it's always just like one large annoying zit that'll
Mm-mm-mm.
just show up and I'm like, Shark Week's starting and
Mm.
Flo's coming into town. Yeah, so it's always just and like I'm a picker. Like I'll have to pick at it a whole bunch and like scab my skin and like
Oh
I know.
no.
I know, don't yell at me.
You're gonna get scars.
I know, but you know what? It's fine. I tell everybody that I like fought a Wolverine and you should worry about the Wolverine because it lost.
What's with you and Wolverines and zombie apocalypses?
Listen,
And
I need to be prepared for the worst, all right? That's just what it is. It's
why do you
survival of the
have
fittest,
such a
man.
grim outlook on life? I
Cuz
don't
I'm
understand.
surprised that I've made it this far. So I just got to make sure that I'm like ready till the end.
You're like, Jesus, you gave me this autoimmune disease, but maybe this is what is immune to the zombies. Whole plot twist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's something like that. I'm going to write that. I'm going to write that short. It's going to be very funny.
That would be pretty funny. That would be. But speaking of like other weird things though, like do you
Yeah.
have weird cravings?
Oh my god, I feel like anybody who's known me in my lifetime. Okay, so a couple of things goes along with this. I love food. I love food so much. I live in Toronto and it's like one of the most diverse cities in the world. Like you can
Mhm.
literally get anything you want to eat here.
Mhm. Mhm.
And growing up, I ate everything. Like I try anything. I have a rule. I will try anything once. If I had a bad experience with it, I probably might be a little hesitant in eating it again, but I will try just about anything once.
Not drugs though, kids.
Not drugs, only food. Oh my gosh.
I gotta make it clear because you know what? We have 2% of our audience identify from the age of 18 to 22. So they're kids.
Oh, they're bebes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Hi bebes. I hope you find this informative and life-changing and make good choices.
And then also for some odd reason, we have like a 3% 34 to 44. So hello to
What's up?
the
What's up, Daniel Garrett? I know that you're listening. Good. There's your shout out. Daniel Garrett was probably one of the most influential people in my high school career. He's pretty much the reason why I do everything I do now. So he messaged me and he was like, "I'm listening to the podcast." I was like, "Oh no, you have 3 daughters. I'm so sorry."
I do apologize for the amount of profanity that is in these episodes on my side.
I'm no better, so I apologize.
Just yeah, don't roll your eyes at us. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I kind of am. We'll see. Yes, but back to this. I have cravings for like things I will have eaten like one time in my life that I will probably never get again. This time I had a craving for like one one pasta that I ate one time at a restaurant that does 3 rotating pastas a night. So there's a good chance that I'll probably never have that pasta again. And I was like, I will kill a man in the street without batting an eye for a plate of this pasta. Like
Huh.
that is how strong this craving is. And I can probably not get
Interesting.
this pasta ever again. Or it'll be
Interesting.
like a drink I had one time when I was a kid that they don't make anymore. It'll always be something very obscure and very odd. It's never anything I can just like walk down to the grocery store and get like a pint of Ben and Jerry's and I'll be satiated. Like it's never something like that.
Speaking of Ben and Jerry's, you shouldn't have it when you're on your period.
Oh
Asian
my
moms will
god.
tell you, don't drink
Jesus.
anything cold when you have your period. I don't know. That's not what my mom sounds like. She just is yelling at me. No watermelon, no pears, nothing cold, you know? But then I'm like, but what
Yeah.
about my breakfast smoothie? They're like, this is why you can't sleep at night and
Oh my
probably why
god.
you never will have children. I'm like, okay, thanks, mom.
Jesus. That escalated. I mean, like for me it's my mom yelling at me not to drink anything hot because your flow will get heavier. She's like, "Why are you drinking hot tea?" And I was like, "Because it makes my insides feel good." Oh my gosh. But it's like,
This is a topic for another episode, an entire episode on Asian home remedies.
oh my god, yes, we will definitely do an episode about, about Asian home
Ugh,
remedies.
yes, and whether or not they're true, and try to describe like concepts that are not native to the English language,
Oh my god.
like how my mom will always say that I'm full of fire on the inside. And like she means like literally like there's a lot of fire inside me and that's why I always get acne.
Oh
Or
my
like this is why I
god.
have like a dry cough at night. No, this we'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about that.
Oh, I can't wait. That's a whole episode in its entirety. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
my cravings are always bizarre. Or it's like I had a friend describe my fast food cravings as like ritzy fast food. Like I'll never be like, "Yo, I want like a 6-piece chicken McNuggets." It's always like I really want like the shrimp trio from like Red Lobster with the Alfredo pasta. Like I could really go for that right now.
You
Like
fancy bitch.
always. Or it's like, oh my God, you know what I really want right now? I want like oysters Rockefeller, when they're grilled with the bacon. Ooh, and some spinach on that. Delicious. Like it's always something like that. It's never something like cheap.
Huh. I
Yeah,
can't
I
say that
got,
I have cravings though. So I mean that's
ugh,
doesn't
I'm
really do
jealous,
anything for
man.
me.
My cravings are always like obtuse. They're never straightforward. It makes me sad.
I think it's because all the things that you would normally crave when you're on your period or while you're pregnant, I just like that shit. So I have it on a daily basis. Olives, pickles, anything
Oh yeah.
sour,
I
you
want that all
know?
the I'm briny on the inside from all of
Ooh,
that stuff that I
yes.
ate. Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
like raw oysters. I just put like a shit ton of that like shallot vinaigrette that they would have.
Ooh, yes. Put some
Ooh.
lemon on that with that shallot vinegar.
Ooh.
Ooh, delicious.
Just like a splash of cocktail sauce. Like if it's house made though, like not that
Oh
jarred
man.
shit.
Or if they like just give you like a hunk of like horseradish with that.
Don't
Oh
even with the horseradish
man.
right now.
Oh man.
So wow, like next time I'm over in Toronto, we're getting raw oysters.
Yo, I can think of 3 places off the top of my head right now. Shout out to Rodney's Oyster House. That's where we're going.
Oh, well, we have Rodney's over here too. And funny enough, actually, when I went to Victoria for a mini getaway before this
Hmm.
COVID thing, there was like on Groupon, they show you, or not Groupon, sorry, on Airbnb, they have
Yeah.
like these activities that you can do at the place
Yes.
that you book where you're staying. And there was a class on oyster shucking, and
Oh.
me and my date went. So me and Mr. Pharmacist went, and we learned how to shuck oysters. It was super fun.
Can you hold up your hands for me? I just
What's wrong
want
with
to
my hands
I
right
just
now?
want to make sure that you have all 10 fingers from your
I
oyster
know.
shucking.
I do. No, no, no. Funny. And I did it with my freaking like 2-inch long acrylic nails, bro.
Oh my
So
god, what?
yeah, let me tell you. So we went to go and check these oysters and it was so much fun. Like it was probably the highlight of our trip, no joke. This is
Mhm.
like a shout out to the Wandering Mollusk because that's the people that put on this class to shuck oysters. And it was a class of it was just two of us. I guess nobody else signed up for that day or whatever. And you do it inside this little kind of beer tasting place, which is
Mm-hmm.
awesome because I had like two sips of beer and I was like ready to fucking rock and roll.
In true Nikki
And
fashion, yes.
exactly. And then so Mr. Pharmacist had to drink the rest of my beer because I couldn't handle myself after that. But we went to go and shuck these oysters, and it was fucking awesome. So you get to shuck oysters, and you get to like he teaches you how to shuck them, talks
Mm-hmm.
to you about where the oysters comes from, talks to you about how it actually helps like filter out our water and stuff, and like
Yeah.
it's actually really cool. So it's educational. It was fun. You get to eat the oysters after. This guy also makes a bomb ass sauces.
Oh,
Okay, funny that
yes.
we're talking about oysters
Delicious.
in a period episode, but no, like honestly he makes the best sauces and he doesn't sell them. So if you want some fresh oysters, you want to learn how to shuck it, go look him up on Instagram, The Wandering Mollusk. Fucking awesome time that we had.
Yeah, we're going
But
when I'm
yeah,
in
so
BC next. Like, we're making that a
oh
thing.
please,
Yes.
please. But yeah, no, nothing that I crave. That's weird.
Oh
So
man. I mean, yeah, all I do is like I sent that message like I sent the message out to everyone yesterday because they were like, "How are you feeling? Are you dead? Are you dying?" And I was like, "Honestly, I'm wrapped in like a fuzzy blanket with my weighted blanket on top of me and I'm just like a quesadilla in my little blanket tortilla shell." And I
mm,
mean, yeah, that's pretty much how you just get through it. You have yourself a little pity party for like a few days, and then you get over it, and everything is fine.
mhm.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, it does suck, and I don't know why we have to suffer this because we're also the ones that actually like do the whole childbirthing thing. So
and it's so annoying because it's like, why are you mad at me? Because I did not fertilize any of the eggs. Why are you mad at me now? Like you've made yourself known. You did the
do
thing.
you ever think, as a religious person, that this is a punishment from God for all women for all eternity because Eve ate the damn apple?
I used to think that for a really long time, and like in a way, sometimes I get a little bit annoyed about it, and I was like, ugh, really? But at the same time, I'm like, nice Bible story.
I don't know anything about obviously any of the Jesus stories, but if I remember correctly, we're made from the limb of a man.
The
Is that
rib.
or the rib of a man? Yeah. So, shouldn't they suffer some part too in this? I don't understand. Like, we go through the whole like let's shed our fucking entire like uterus out every fucking month, and then when it comes to childbirth, or even before childbirth, you got
Mm-hmm.
the fucking 9 months of carrying the goddamn demon. Then you fucking birth them out. Then not only do you birth out the baby, you also have to push out the damn fucking placenta for those people who don't fucking know.
Oh
Okay, it's
God.
like the home for the babies. Okay, so why do we have to go through all of that while the man just sits outside carrying all of our bags at the hospital and being like, okay, yeah, my life is going to change. Oh, okay, got to support another child. Like,
Yeah,
no, you don't just get the mental of it, like women, we get like all of it. We
all of
get
it.
all of
Every
that.
part of it. Every part of it. Yeah, I can't imagine the secondary part to it. Like I can barely handle like the primary part of it right now.
Yeah, no, I think about that all the time because I was first aid certified. I went through the
Oh
entire
my
course.
gosh.
I was like, yeah, I was the assistant to like the school nurse in high school, and I had to go through all of that because I volunteered to do that. I don't know why, but I did. And then they do teach you like how to assist in emergency childbirth. So I had
Oh
to
my god.
watch the entire birthing video. What happens? What do you do? Kind of thing. And you know what? I was like, I don't know how this could have come in handy in any way, shape, or form because the worst thing that I had to do as like the school nurse kind of was I had to yank out earbuds out of a kid's ear
Oh
that got
god.
jammed inside. You know that little rubbery silicone bit at the
Yeah.
at on your at the end of your earphones? Yeah, so some kid got that stuck like really in his ear and we had to like tweeze it out. And that's like probably that's the worst thing I've ever seen in high school.
Oh
So I was like,
god.
I was ready to assist in childbirth, but like nobody was a teenage mom at my school. So that's a little
Oh
disappointing.
my gosh. I kudos to you for doing that because I could never. Like children terrify me. The idea of like delivering a child, I'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm chilling. This is fine. This is okay. But you know what I do do when I'm in the middle of like a PMS sadness is like I'll just hole up and watch really
What
bad.
is that?
I'll hole up and watch really bad movies. Like I love, yeah,
Oh,
I love watching me some terrible cinema. I love like really bad comedies. I love all of that stuff.
bad
Like I'm
rom-coms.
into it. So actually, I think maybe since we're all syncing up, right? We're all on the same we're on the same
Mm-hmm.
menstruation cycle. Maybe we
Mm-hmm.
maybe we make this a thing. Maybe we do this every month. Maybe we do it with you guys.
Oh yeah, no, we were talking about this prior to recording the show, and Chris came up with the wonderful idea. Chris, would you like to introduce CNC for
Yeah.
our lovely
Guys,
audience?
we're going to start doing a once a month episode, a monthly episode to syncopate with our cycles. We're calling
A
it
series, if you
a
may.
series,
Yeah.
if you may, called Cramps in Cinema. We're going to dissect maybe a romantic comedy once a month during Shark Week. It'll be a nice deep dive into the bloody waters of love and relationship. Get it? Because Shark
Ah
Week.
ha ha ha. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We're so poetically sound, I
Oh my
swear.
God, stop. It's terrible. I just like me some alliteration. Yeah, so next week, if you guys want to join us, we'll be doing our first episode. We will be watching Notting Hill, the romantic classic starring Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant, who I find super annoying. So this is going to be really fun to watch. It's been a really long time since I've watched
I've
it.
never watched it, so
Oh,
this is going to be
perfect.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's on Amazon Prime for all of you Prime members out there. So you guys can totally watch it on Prime Video. If you have to, obtain it in other means, we don't condone it, but you do you, boo boo. You do what you got to do.
Yep.
Yes.
Follow us, watch the movie, and we will dissect what is going on in the movie in
Yes.
our
And Hugh Grant's
Chris and
very
Nikki
dumb
fashion.
face. It's going to be great.
We will talk about it, and this is going to be a monthly series, so tune in for Cramps in Cinema.
Cramps in Cinema.
And you can listen to it on your Shark Week, and hopefully you get a few laughs with your cramps, so you got a double workout.
Yes.
You know? There you go.
Exactly.
11 abs for the win.
You get abs on both sides. Yes.
Yes. But after speaking of the Cramps in Cinema, we would like to dive into our question of the day.
Yeah.
And Chris, you got a question from one of your listeners. What was it? Let's talk about it.
Oh man, one of my friends put me on blast via social media. He responded to the question poll I had placed on my Instagram stories. He had asked me very bluntly what my favorite song was on side B and why is it solo. So this is a very specific question. I can't believe I'm dealing with this right now. It's specific to Carly Rae Jepsen putting out dedicated side B. No one really knows this, but a few people. But like my guilty pleasure is Carly Rae Jepsen. I don't talk about it because I'm deeply ashamed. Pop music is not usually one of my go-tos. But you know what? Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion album really got me through a lot of sadness and heartbreak in 2016. So you know what? She's got a special place in my heart. Also, it's not Solo, Sir. That is not my favorite song on the album. It's Heartbeat. Have you heard Heartbeat? Why was Solo even an option for you? I don't know, my dude. Do better. Also, some secret love for Carly Rae Jepsen, and it's like eating cake at midnight. You know, it's like it's comforting. It's comforting.
Guilty pleasure.
It's a guilty pleasure. Nikki, what are your guilty pleasures?
Oh wow, it's just throwing me under the bus.
Yeah,
there,
dude.
hey,
I just
Chris?
had to admit to liking Queen of Pop and Canadian sweetheart Carly Rae Jepsen, while also owning like various anthologies of like medieval literature. So it's like I have to really deal with both those sides of my personality. So let's throw you under the bus
Right.
really quickly.
Okay, well then. I don't really have many guilty pleasures, but I do weird things.
I mean,
Like,
sure, I'll take it.
I'm like self-diagnosed with a mild case of trichotillomania.
Excuse me?
Yeah, if you Google what it is, it's basically I have this thing where like simply put, I like to pull out hair,
Uh, uh,
and it's not healthy, guys. If you have any sort of like mental illnesses or anything that makes you uncomfortable or any type of way where you're harming yourself, please go seek help. Like, please go
of
seek
course.
professional
Oh
help.
my
But I
gosh.
have I have a weird thing where I like to pull out my hair when I'm stressed, and it's very specific. I will sit in like the bathroom for hours on end, and I would just go and comb through my hair, especially on the sides of my head, and I'll like feel like, I don't know. I think when you're just like when your hair is so long, you'll feel the difference in like thickness when you're like really well nourished, I guess, or when you're really healthy, and then when you're not, or like you just have one piece of hair that's like super squiggly.
That's like this is like the saddest
I don't
explain a
know. I
brag
don't know how
ever.
better else to explain this, but it's just hair that feels weird. Like each strand,
Oh my
one strand
god.
feels different from all the rest. So I'll just pluck it out. And I had like this weird, like really bad phase of like when I was just stressing so much a couple of years ago, and I didn't know what to do with my life. Like this was probably like 3 years ago, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was really stressing out, and I was having a bad time with like my future, looking at what my career would be like and who I was with at the time, and I started just plucking everything. Oh yeah, well, I mean like tweezers, like plucking
Oh my
everything.
god.
Like I don't want to go into like too much
Jesus
detail
Christ,
for
Nikki.
like, the person who has $3 that listens to our podcast.
Oh god.
But yeah, so it got so bad to the point where I had to like stop myself in a way where I had to go get lasered. I had to go get everything lasered because I couldn't stop. Don't worry, guys. I still have my eyebrows. Okay. My eyebrows are 100% real. But yeah, I know I still have my eyebrows and my eyelashes, but everything else I got lasered. Fun fact, I've never shaved my legs in my life. I've never waxed them. I barely have any leg hair.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, Mr. Pharmacist actually didn't notice that I had leg hair until like probably 3 days ago. I was like under a certain, lighting, and then he was like, oh, you have like a bit of hair on your legs. I'm like, yeah, they were
Uh,
always like that. I've
yeah,
just
plus
never
I'm
shaved
like
my legs
a
before.
human woman. Like this.
Exactly. I'm like, I
Yes.
have hair everywhere. Okay. You just don't know because I like, make myself presentable, because I just say if you're like too close to my face, you're going to see my little peach fuzz like right above my lip, so I get rid of that. So, so I got everything lasered at that time to prevent me from like, to just like, self sabotaging my skin.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't recommend it. Again, if you ever find yourself doing weird things you might think is like not normal, maybe just go seek help and ask somebody about it, ask your doctor about it. So
This
it
took a
was just really
turn.
my
Oh my
anxiety.
gosh.
Yeah, so there you go. This is what you get for throwing me under the bus.
I was like, oh my god, I like secretly love Carly Rae Jepsen. Oh my god. Like, she's like really great, but like, no one needs to know that. And you're just like, yeah, I have like a really bad stress disorder, and this is what happens to me. And this is how I've been traumatized. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
See, now the Carly Rae Jepsen thing doesn't sound just as bad now, does it, Chris?
Not at all. Not at all. Oh my
But
goodness.
I don't do it like I really
Yikes.
don't do it often. Like it's only when I'm hella stressed, and like luckily the hair on like the right behind my ears all grew back, so we're okay. I'm not like permanently bald in one
Oh,
spot,
Jesus
you
Christ.
know. Yeah, no, Yuki would totally kill me. Like my hairstylist would be like, "What the actual fuck did you do?" If I came in with like a bald spot behind my
Oh
ear,
my
he's gonna be like,
goodness.
"Who the fuck shaved you?" But no.
Oh my god. I remember like when I was first like diagnosed, like my hair started falling out like in clumps, and like that was like the scariest thing for me because I've always had like
Mm-mm-mm.
really thick hair. And then all of a sudden like having none, like it's still quite thin compared to where it used to be, but that was like incredibly just suffocating. I was like, this is like the one thing I thought I had control of, and now I don't have control of it. Like, I would imagine it
Mm.
pretty much feels the same way. You're just taking control over like the one thing that you have
Probably,
control
yeah.
over.
And then if you think about
Yeah.
there like this is like mild like of what this
Mm-hmm.
disorder can be like if you Google it and you search it up. There is people who actually suffer from it so much that they do have like patches of baldness, and
Yeah.
and they do it so often that like and they go all the way to the root where like they find like they pull out even like the hair follicle, like the root, and
Oh my
it
gosh.
will never grow back, right? And so the more you abuse your scalp, obviously, or you don't take care of yourself, it's some things don't come back, so it's if you ever find yourself in that situation, please go find help. If you are stressed, find alternative ways to maybe de-stress. If it happens to be bad rom-coms, if it happens to be good food, don't feel bad about doing something that makes you feel good. Obviously don't do it in excess, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, if you have an addictive personality, it's something to could be, yeah,
Everything in
exactly, to
moderation.
consider.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, it's everything on my side, like I can control it. It's nothing too serious, but I think everybody has stress, right? And then if you think about it's something like your hair, and I think this is why, side note, like why I feel men have such a like a hard time dealing with male pattern baldness, because it is the first thing that you
Mhm.
see is somebody's face and what's on their head, and a lot of men have either receding hairlines or thinning hair or whatever it is, and it's very unfortunate, but I feel like that has a lot to do with one's confidence. So we can't take this lightly, and we got to be considerate of people's feelings. And so just think about, as much as women are vain, men also, they
Oh
care about their
yeah.
appearances, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but a winning personality never goes out of style, guys.
True. And if you're funny, those pennies will drop.
Oh my god, Nikki, Jesus
On
Christ.
that
I was trying to end
note,
it on a wholesome
On
note.
that note, we end
Ah!
our episode. Thank you so much for listening once again. If you have any questions or topics you would like us to cover, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram and we've got Twitter, at Editorial,
Yes.
and we have our email, which is the Editorial Podcast at gmail.com.
Yes, send us your questions. Also, send us topics for the show if you have any. If you feel like putting me on blast, like this specific question asker did, you can totally do that as well. And remember, Cranston Cinema, that will be their next episode. So watch Notting Hill and join us for that. It's going to be great. And we look forward to hearing your thoughts. It's going to be like an old fashioned slumber party. It's going to be fun.
It will be. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe, stay inside, and stay real.
Stay real.